Kapuziner Weissbier.
And remember, life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. This is the last one from the Kulmbacher Brewery that I've got, and it is the Kapuziner Weissbier. Now, the Kulmbacher Brewery are from a place called Franconia in Bavaria, and they do a number of brands of beers. They do the Mönchhof stuff and they do the Kapuziner stuff. The Kapuziner stuff is their Weissbier brand, or wheat beer brand if you like, and they do variations on the wheat beer. They do a dark wheat beer and they do a Keller Weiss, which is completely fucking unusual to me. I don't know what's going on there, but that's just a complete anomaly. I don't know, you know, a Keller beer is naturally cloudy, so is Hefeweiss, so why are they calling it a Keller Weiss? I don't know, I have no idea. That's a new one. And they do a normal Hefeweiss, and this is it. And I have to say, of all the beers I've tried from the Kulmbacher Brewery, they're not bad. The Mönchhof stuff is really nice. I have to say, I've got no complaints about it whatsoever. The Kapuziner stuff, it's okay, it's not bad, but as I say, it's all the wheat beer stuff. It's not the best wheat beer. There are better wheat beers, certainly from Bavaria, definitely. And I'm just looking at this geezer's head. I said that about it last time. Let's state that geezer's Swede. Look at it. It looks like he's been set on fire and put out of a cricket bat. But yeah, it always makes me laugh. And yeah, there's another thing about this. They put all the monastery stuff on it. I'm sure there must have been a monastery there years ago. Kapuziner is one of the original followers of I think it's the Benedictine order, and that's why it's called that. Of course, this hasn't seen a monastery in its entire life. This is just brewed in the Kulmbacher Brewery in a place called Kulmbach in Franconia. And that's about it, really. That's all I'm really going to say. It's a Weiss beer. I've tried a couple of theirs before. They've been okay. Not bad. I think I've tried this one before. I think it was in 2014. Yeah, 2013 or 2014. A mate brought over a load of German beer for me. I'm sure this was one of them that was in there. I can't remember. It's been so long ago. I mean, that was like 8-9 years ago. Let's get it open and let's see what's going on. Before we get it open, let's just check it out. It's a 500ml bottle. It's 5.4%. It is a Hefeweiss beer, Naturtrüb. Naturtrüb, of course, means cloudy, which Weiss beer is. That's the nature of it. It's unfiltered. You get all the yeast suspension in there, and you get all the sediment, and that, of course, gives it that nice banana and clove type flavour. Or hopefully it does anyway. And that's about it, really. There's the label. Quite a nice label. Very old school type. You'd think they've been going years. Well, they probably have, but Kulmbacher are brewing it now. And they've been going since the 1800s. That's the top. Got a flip top tap. Flip top cap. There you go. Let's get it open. Let's see what's going on. I do like them caps, the way you pop them open. Alright, let's get it into the glass, yeah. Now I have to say, Hefeweiss or Weissbier is one of my favourite styles, and the Kapuziner stuff has been a bit, I wouldn't say disappointing, it's just not up there with the best of them from Bavaria. Yeah, it smells nice. Aromas are there, but they're not massive. The head on that is massive, but look at that carbonation. Can you see that carbonation? That is fucking insane. And that's what you should expect from a Weissbier. They are super carbonated. They do calm down and they usually get a really nice mouthfeel. Now, you should give this a little bit of a swig. Get all the beer in there and the yeast that's suspended in there. Whatever you do, don't roll an open bottle across the table like some beer reviewer thinks you have to do. That's just fucking nonsense. There's no science behind it. He reckons he was told by a load of German barmen that's the way you do it. You don't. It's not done. No one in their right mind does that. So shut the fuck up and relax. There you go. There's a little bit left in there. There's quite a little bit left in there actually. The head has just gone insane on that, and that's why you should never drink Hefeweiss from a bottle, because you will not get that carbonation, or it will not be let out, and that will do that in your stomach, and you will feel absolutely bloated and feel terrible. Let's see if I can get some more in there. Give that a little swirl about, get some more yeast in there. This is super lively though, so that's why that head has gone insane. Look at that, it's like a Bavarian cornetto. Right, I want to get this down my Gregory peck. There's 3-finger whitehead. That's probably a 4-finger actually. Yeah, it's 3.5-finger whitehead. Nice orange colour. Fucking loads of carbonation. Tightly packed whitehead. Here we go. Zum Wohl, as they say in Germany. Oh, fucking hell. I think that was just mostly foam, that was. Let's get some more of that yeast in there. This is fucking insane. That carbonation. Check it out. Right, let's go again. Fucking Ada. That's not bad. It's quite herbal. I'm getting some little herbal notes on the finish on there, which is a little bit unusual, but it's not in a bad way. I don't normally get them herbal type notes on there. Just try again. There's a bitterness to this, which is very subtle, but it's definitely there. And I've let this sit for about 20 minutes straight out of the fridge, so it's a tiny bit warmer than it should be, but I am getting some different flavours from it now. There's the usual banana and clove, which you'd expect, and as I always say, you know, ignore the carbonation, because that does calm down, unless of course it's Erdinger. It's quite nice actually, no complaints. Banana and clove is a bit subdued. There was a bitter overtone on that. It's very, very subtle, but I can get it. It's one of the, I normally categorise them like on a sliding scale. You get some very sweet German wheat beers, like what I think are sweet anyway, the Franziskaner stuff, the Einsiedler wheat beer, and then you go to the other extreme that's got like a little bit of sourness on it. I usually find that from the Patronus stuff, the Lidl's own brand wheat beer. That's got a slight sour note to it. And then you've got everything in between. Now Schneider and Weihenstephaner are sort of bordering on the sweeter end of the scale, as are the Paulaner, the Augustiner, and the Hacker-Shaw stuff. This is slightly bitter. There's some, I think it must be there's some noble hops in here. I'm assuming they're Hallertau hops, but it's given it a slight bitter overtone, which I think if I'd have drunk this a little bit colder, I probably wouldn't be getting, but it's in here. And that's on the finish as well. So again, that's why I'm assuming this is the hops that are causing this. It's quite nice though. I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it's there, and it makes a nice change. You know, there's a little bit of a difference to the flavour. Quite nice actually, and it was quite cheap as well. I got it from the, where did I get it from? I think it was the Bavarian Beer Company. There's a website called the Bavarian Beer Company, and I think all the stuff they had in stock was the Kulmbacher stuff. That's why I've ended up with so much of it, because I've tried and reviewed all the others that were on there. But this isn't bad. It's not the, don't get me wrong, it's not the best Weissbier in the world. It's not the worst either. You know, I wouldn't go out of my way to buy it, but if, you know, I was in a bar and this was all that was, you know, for sale, I'd be perfectly happy drinking this. And, you know, as I've said before in numerous videos, Weissbier is one of my favourite styles. And the Germans get it right. I've tried loads of craft Weissbiers, and honestly, it's just a fucking clown show. Some of them are okay. Some of them are absolute fucking abortions. They really are. And I'm not going to go into rant about craft beer, but, you know, they give it all the big and about the IPAs and all that, but when it comes to brewing traditional stuff, you know, they're just all over the place. It's like the IPAs are the default. It's what everyone knows. It's almost like the identikit beer. You know, if you're trying to brew some original, you know, with simple ingredients as well. And I've made this comparison before with food. Certainly Italian food as well. Now, I like to cook every now and again, believe it or not. And I see these Italian chefs really going into rages like only Italians can about, you know, putting pineapples on pizzas and, you know, putting peas in carbonara and stuff like that. If you look at the originals, the way the original stuff was cooked, it's just so much better. Now, the comparison with craft beer, in my opinion, is exactly the same. You have tradition, and yeah, you can put your little twist on it or whatever, but you know, when you go too far out the way, I mean, for fuck's sake, there was that beetroot and chili Hefeweizen. It was absolutely disgusting. That come from the Time and Tide Brewery, I think it was, or was it Boutilliers? I can't remember. It was one or two Kent brewers reviews on the channel. You just think, why? And people laugh at, you know, people like me and, you know, all these beer traditionalists. But, you know, you've got to remember, yeah, craft beer and all that, the craft beer scene, yeah, it's good. You know, you've got all these new IPAs coming out. Some of them are quite nice, don't get me wrong. But when you try and sort of mix and match the styles, where you're throwing loads of American hops into German beer, traditional German beer styles, you just think, why? And 9 times out of 10, it just doesn't work. It really doesn't work. And you just think, why are you doing it? And I don't know. I don't get it. Maybe, no, I'm not going to say it, because it's going to sound like I'm fucking coming across as condescending. And people can say to me, oh, well, you've never brewed beer in your life and all that. And, no, it's fair enough. I haven't. But I'm a fucking punter. I'm putting my hand in my pocket, putting money over the counter to buy your beer. So don't fucking give it like saying, oh, you've never brewed beer. If I'm going to buy your beer, you know, I want to have you know, oh, should I really do this? No, I'm not. I'm going to stop there, because it's just going to turn into a rant. But you get my drift. People laugh at people like me who saying, oh, you know, you shouldn't be doing this and shouldn't be doing that with beer. And then you've got the anarchists who are just throwing everything into beer, saying, oh, let's give it a go, see how it works, you know. And I don't know, when I see people trying to bastardise traditional styles beer, traditional style beers, it gives me the hump, you know. What was my point anyway? How the fuck did I get onto this from drinking a Kapuziner Weissbier? I don't know. Any excuse for a rant. The older you get, the more fucking angry you get. Anyway, let's stop it there. So what's the verdict on Kapuziner Weissbier? It's not bad. It's not the worst beer in the world, certainly not. It's not the best Weiss beer in the world. It's got a nice bitterness on it that I think you're only going to get if you let it warm up a little bit more than it should be served at. And it gives it a little bit of a twist on it. And of course, this conforms to the Reinheitsgebot. So if you're, going to call me a hypocrite after me rant earlier, there's no nasties in this. They've done nothing wrong. Everything that they've put in there is supposed to be in there, and there's no adjuncts in there apart from the wheat. But wheat is an accepted adjunct on the Reinheitsgebot. So yeah, but my point is, if you're going to serve this a little bit warmer, you're going to get a little bit more of a bitter flavour on the finish, which is coming from the hops, which is quite nice. So there you go. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. I'd recommend it, but I will say there is better Weiss beer out there, probably for the same price as well. I mean, you can get Weihenstephaner for £1.80 in Sainsbury's if you're in the UK, and sorry, but there's just no comparison. This stuff doesn't even come close. So there you go. But yeah, 7 out of 10, and I recommend it. And remember, beer is working class champagne.